MDF skirting boards need caulking and priming. So just a quick video and some tips on how we do it. First of all, very rough finish to the MDF. Top edge slightly as well. 120 grit sandpaper. Just lightly go over this. That will smooth it down, because effectively what's happened here, the water-based primer, when it hits the MDF, will fur it up, so that is smoother. So just a quick sand. Well, if you work with MDF a lot, painting, caulking it, then you'll understand what it's all about when I say rough. So these boards, when they're primed, notice how this face is a lot smoother than here. This area has been machined, so giving this a rougher texture. Once it's primed, it raises that MDF, the fibres in it. So you will need to give it a sand, that top edge as well, because that will always look rough. Better to do it now than later on when it's all been painted. It's become harder to sand back. So if I just hold my filling blade flat on the face of the skirting board, then up here you can see how much has been machined off. Get that rough edge. Already this is a lot smoother. Concentrate more on this area. This shouldn't be too bad. You may get the odd thick patch of paint from where it's been sprayed, maybe a splash, but other than that, that's not too bad. So then generally you'd think we're ready for caulking. So slight gaps, and it can be tight gaps there. Some bigger than others. So before I do caulk it, if I just get a damp cloth and just wet this and just rub there, it starts to bring the paint off. Water-based acrylic paint. So when your caulk sits on it, it bonds to the paint, wets it, and then can lift it off. So, something we need to do first. Bin primer. A little bit more. And what I need to do is thin it down a bit. And then what I can do is just the top edge and the face coat with the bin primer, or do the whole lot. Because I've got nail holes to fill, then I will be doing the lot. And Caulk skirting up. I say you might not have to do all of it. If it's glued, then you won't. Started sanding this down with 240. Now that the bin primer's dry, I need to sand it again because I'm putting caulk in, and the caulk I can't sand. So now I've got some 240 grade. I'm going to go around and sand it all lightly, and then I can caulk it and fill it. Theoretically, this is ready for caulking. So we've got some gaps which are slightly bigger than the others. Down this end, quite a bit of a gap. Now, these are nailed, but there'll be a bit of movement in this board, and when I say movement, hollow floor, the board and the wall, so you get a lot of shock and movement through there. And caulk, 5mm depth really, so we've got quite a wide gap there. That's probably about 5mm, but then that's quite big, quite deep behind. So good tip to help your caulk perform better with some expanding foam. I'm just going to put a spot just behind the skirting board. Doesn't have to be much. If you do that on the widest areas, and then wherever there's a bit of a gap, then about 8-10 inches, I'll just put a small spot just to help secure it. That's the foaming where needed. Just help that caulk. So while that's drying, small job is just to help this chap. Butterfly. Go on, mate. Go on. Round the corner, round the corner. There you go. Off. Once the foam is dry, you can cut it back and give it a really good sand. So just like there, make sure there's nothing proud. So quite easy. And then give it a good sand. Fine sandpaper. Make sure there's nothing protruding. That's good. You will notice now how smooth, really is smooth that. So I've got a caulk, no nonsense. Don't cut the nozzle too big, on a 45-degree angle. I've got a wet cloth with neutral soap, so fairy liquid, something like that. And then not squeezing too hard, but I just want to start to get some in. Okay. Now the soapy water, I'll just get my smoothing tool. I'm just using a plastic packer and wet it and just draw that along the surface. Come back the other way, I'll finish it. Okay, perfect. That's it, we're all corked up. That's looking perfect, no worries there. So remember, seal that MDF before you put cork near it, or any fillers. It just makes it a lot easier when you're wiping back. But that's good. Oh, job done. That's not too bad. Someone left the oven on. I like it when it's warm, but not when it's this warm.